Hey everybody, welcome to Creative Frequencies. I am your host, Chris Vaglio, and this is the show where we have conversations with creative professionals from all walks of life. So if that kind of stuff is your jam, then listen to my next guest. Let's rock. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Creative Frequencies. My name's Chris. I am here today with two awesome business owners that I have been looking very forward to talking to for quite some time. So ladies, please introduce yourselves to everybody.
Hi, Chris. I'm Carey Balogh, the founder and CEO of Brand Groupies.
And I'm Lauren Genest. Thanks for having us. I am partner and president of Brand Groupies.
Well, I'm so glad you guys could come on today. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to dive right in because I don't, none of this extra intro stuff and all this stuff. We're just going right in. So if you guys were quote unquote for real groupies, or let's just say from almost famous Band-Aids, who would be the band that you guys would be obsessed with?
Oh,
what would be the band that you'd be on tour with? Mamadrama. Okay, we'll get into Mamadrama.
You're so sweet. I know. I'd probably go with a classic rock band, but if I really had to let it all out, it'd be Journey.
Journey, nice.
Yeah, I know.
Right on. It's a good one.
Dating me.
Hey, no way. Come on, Journey. Like
Stones and, Led Zeppelin. But...
Right. Okay. And then Lauren, you're all about Mamadrama.
Yeah, I'm just like a groupie. And then it's funny because you were like, if you had to be groupies, we actually are groupies for our clients. Like,
yes,
really,
well,
really.
Yes, I know that. Hence the name Brand Groupies.
Yeah.
So what was that conversation like? You're like, boom, we're groupies for our clients. We're Brand Groupies. Like, how did that even happen?
I know. I think, we're celebrating 10 years this year.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. But I think when, starting the company, it was always about the clients and being so passionate about their brands, almost like a cheerleader groupie. And then it came kind of organically, like, I personally am a band groupie. So I, just was obsessed with brands at the time, and just Brand Groupies came out, and it was going to be Brand Groupie, but then it wasn't available. So Brand Groupies was meant to be because we have a whole team.
I love that. So it's almost like coming up with a name for a band.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, you make the list of everything and then you start crossing them off one by one and
totally
kind of figuring that out. So yeah, let's talk about the business. So 10 years in business. So let's dial it back a little bit. When you guys first started, what was the impetus? Because listen, we're all in our businesses here, and I think we're all, I think to be in business on your own, we're certain there's a little amount of crazy there, right? We're not built the same as everybody else, but
no.
what was the spark there to kind of get rocking and rolling on your own business? Because usually everybody has that catalyst.
Yeah.
What was yours?
In the beginning, I think, personally, when my background was fashion, and we'll talk about the similarities between us and that career path. But I think going back, working for global fashion brands on an executive level, and then when I got the entrepreneurial itch, and I co-founded a rock and roll play space for kids in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So I had the taste of entrepreneurship. And then when Brand Groupies launched, it was almost a passion for helping entrepreneurs and mixing, the high level corporate experience with a startup mentality, and helping business owners really get off the ground and making right decisions as far as, the marketing side. And since then, we've evolved to work with, major brands.
Yeah, everybody has sort of that origin story, like how does it start? Because, some people like start a business out of like, what, forget it, I'm doing it myself. Like I want to pick and choose who I want to work with. I don't want to work for anybody else anymore except for our clients,
yes.
which we all love very dearly. But
yeah,
but you know what I mean? It's like you're the master of your own destiny, so to speak. So, or it's like, hey, I'm just passionate about this, or it's whatever it is, there's always a reason why you eventually that switch flips and you're like, I'm going to start my own thing. gonna start my own thing.
Yeah. And it was
a good question.
I know. I said, and in the beginning, it was, it was great. I, was a solo show. But then, of course, Lauren, I met through my sister. We've known each other for decades. And she came into Brand Groupies, and we just launched the PR division and podcasting division. And then it took a whole exciting route.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So yeah, Lauren, let's hear a bit from you. Fill us in. What is your origin story?
Yeah, so I actually followed in Carey's footsteps. I ended up working in fashion PR in New York for about almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Really, because Carey did. I was really good friends with her sister in college, and we used to go visit Carey, and I was a communications major, and she was doing all this fun fashion stuff in New York, and I was like, I want to do that. So I ended up doing something very similar for years, and we worked with incredible brands that were global, and we were trained in the same way, even though we never actually worked together. But we learned a lot of the same philosophies and approaches when it comes to, I think, client service and how to tell a story and how to create buzz around a brand and how to kind of think outside the box. And so when I was moving many years ago, right before COVID, I got in touch with Carey, and we were lucky enough to start working together. And then today we do PR, social media, and podcasting for big commercial architecture, engineering, construction brands, and then all the related fields in that industry. So I don't think the two of us, when we were 20, 22, 25, would have ever imagined that this is what we'd be doing. But we see such a need, and we feel like we're just scratching the surface. We've been together now for, I think, almost 6 years. And we have built an incredible team and our client roster. And I think all the PTSD that we have from our fashion days very much informs our strategies and the way that we pick and choose who we get to work with. And we have very similar kind of mindsets about what we want our lives to look like today at this phase.
Yeah. We want to work with kind. Kind people, visionaries.
We have a whole checklist.
No one texting you at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So
which is nice.
He does so much of that. So getting out of the, the B2C world.
Let's talk a little bit about, because I mean, listen, we've all been around enough and to see how things are changing, right? I mean, and it's changing fast. I mean, from a marketing side, cool. We got a lot of great new tools at our disposal, which is awesome. It definitely speeds up the process, speeds up even, aids in the creativity. It just helps with a lot of systems, processes, all that. But, however, it is changing the landscape of the industry in across, marketing, creativity, communications, PR related. What are you guys seeing on your side? You're in it. I'm not from a world of PR. Like I said, even my background is more on video. Like I was in a video production company, I sold that, and then I went into more of a fractional marketing role now. But PR was never my strong suit, or I don't have my foundation, my roots aren't in that, so to speak. And for everything that you guys are working on and the clients you're servicing, how are you guys like staying ahead of it? How are you keeping it together with everything changing? I'm sure clients are coming to you and they've got questions, and it's like, oh my God, this stuff's all moving at the speed of light. I just, real talk. I mean, how are you guys feeling about things? Where are you seeing those differences, and how are you staying at least in step with it? It's crazy, right? I mean, it's nuts.
Crazy. I can talk to the social side.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Our division for social. And it's really crazy when you think about, just a few years ago, you're posting a photo and a caption and that's it. And now we're full blown like video directors. I mean, knowing every single like social update and algorithm, and you have to be so in it. And there's so many touch points that you have to be, ahead of. And I think we've been in it for so many years that I think the biggest challenge is finding the perfect team, right? So what do you outsource? Like you'll outsource maybe a videographer, but they're sending you horizontal video and you're like, I need it vertical for reels. And this is the, the ratio. So there's so many points that unless you're posting every single day and being on top of it and living it, it's so hard to keep up. And that's what I think, that's why our clients, they trust us, and they know that we are just like our fashion days. We're always 2 seasons ahead, right? Like, what's next? What's the cutting edge? Obviously, AI is helpful, but at the end of the day, we have to stand out, and our clients, have to be different from their competitors.
You're in the right space, though, in video. Video's yes. not going away.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so much in video as much as I used to be. I do, I make tons of my own content all the time. But like the actual like professional production days I left that behind for a reason. But I agree. I mean, video is definitely not going anywhere. I think video is, forget it. Every single platform in the world is video first now. You can't escape it. It is what it is. But it is very interesting, right? Because it seems like, I hate to say, it's not like, AI is going to replace everything, but AI is replacing a lot of things, or that it's going to go that way. I think people will try to do that, and it's not necessarily going to work out the way they want it to be, because you still need this combined human touch, the creativity, the know-how, the knowledge, the experience. Like, the AI only knows what it knows, and that's it. Like, you still need, to me, especially right now, you still need a human behind all of it. So the tools are great, and it's great. It sped up things, but at the end of the day, you still need our combined knowledge and experience to make it work the right way.
I think you're right. That's the first thing that came to mind when we were speaking, Chris, was the human touch, right? Even when we just were hiring for a position. And I think like one of the roles in was to have a human touch on everything. We don't want things to sound robotic. And I think as, people who are so entrenched in that world, you can spot it a mile away. If something was run through ChatGPT, or it didn't have that final human lens, there's so much room for error. Even if you're using like the social media posting systems, they don't all there's no one perfect system. So I think we certainly see the benefits to enhance what we're already doing. But in terms of it being the final layer, I still think, our approach is to have that human touch on it.
Our philosophy is always about the people behind the brands. And, Lauren
stories
has so many, great examples of our clients being put out there as faces.
Yeah, I think, that's what we always say, that we work with people at our clients' offices. We get approached, thankfully, for, to work with different brands. And we have to really resonate with the story and the people behind it. That's always been our approach. And I think that's the fashion route speaking. You're always kind of putting that fashion designer at the forefront. And we do the same thing with the architects we work with and the rest of our clients, thinking about how we can reveal their superpowers, right? Because no two people are the same, and people do business with people. So that's been a driving force in our approach, is really to bring the people out from behind the scenes to the front, not just on social media, but also when we think about our PR strategies.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about what's changed. And I think in the PR side, so much has changed, right? And I've been doing this since the early 2000s. So back then it was all about print. Like, how can you get me in print? And, it would be 4 to 6 month lead times to get into magazines. And then the world of digital came along, online media, and that became such a big hit. And then I'll never forget a fashion client that asked me many years ago, can you get me on a podcast? And why are we trying to get you on a podcast? A podcast? There weren't even that many podcasts at this time. It was a swimwear brand, actually. Yeah. And they were really young. They were like the next gen below me. And I said, well, let's try. And we started, pitching them to be featured on these podcasts. And it was such a novel idea. And when I joined Carey many years ago in the PR side, and we started a PR division, we started layering podcasts into our strategy, because it was a double whammy. Not only could our clients be themselves and go out and speak about what made their companies unique and what their unique role was in the company. We also then had all that authentic, back then it was audio, not video yet. Yeah. And then Carey could take all the audio clips and spread it out on social. So we were constantly building their persona. And the perception was that the clients were everywhere all of a sudden. And then we got to borrow these different podcast hosts platforms to expose our clients and their companies. And then they were tagging each other and sharing. And we saw the ripple effect that then that could turn into, oh, do you want to come and do a LinkedIn Live with me? Or would you like to be a speaker on this panel that I'm on? Or maybe we could work together. Or you should work with so-and-so. So the new business opportunities started spreading. And today, many years later, we actually have a service called Podcast Media Tour. And we have built this incredible network of podcast hosts in business in general, and then also very specifically in the industries we work with. And the hosts trust us, and they know that we send them really great guests. And so we found that this was a really easy lift for C-suites to carve out, 30 minutes a couple of times a month to be a guest on a podcast. Right. And then Carey and her team on social were able to take the clips and pulse it out. And it has very quickly helped shift momentum, because the thing about PR is if you're running a campaign about a new project, it's one thing. You might be able to get very quick traction from a press perspective. But if your goal is to be in Fast Company to talk about, your decades-old brand, it may take 6 or 7 or 8 months. So that instant gratification that we're also used to in this day and age is much more tangible, I think, with podcasts.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I've been podcasting for about, my God, it's probably 15, 16 years.
Wow.
Really?
You were an OG.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's incredible.
Dating myself. Yeah. But I started doing podcasts. So, I used to do radio back in the day, college radio. Awesome. And then I didn't do anything for a while. And then I always credit my friend Victor for getting me into podcasting. He was podcasting before that. And he was somebody I went to college with. He moved to Spain. We lost touch. We came back together through somebody else's podcast I was listening to, and somehow we got reconnected. And then we just started talking again. And we're big nerds, big comic book nerds and all that stuff. And we would just be talking back and forth about Star Wars and this and that. And did you see this? And we would just have these conversations. And I think finally, pretty sure he was the one that said, we're having these conversations anyway. Why don't we just start talking about it and recording it? And I was like, oh yeah, like a podcast. He's like, yeah, because he was already doing a music podcast. And so we started doing this podcast called Galaxy Geeks. And that was it. We would just get on and talk about stuff, and whether it was good, positive, negative, whatever, we would just talk about basically we saw this and this is what we thought about it. It was so rudimentary, and we were like recording on Skype.
Oh, amazing.
And I used to use my like Xbox gaming mic headset as that was my mic, and it was crazy, man. It's so funny, and it wasn't that long ago, but and then it just evolved from there, and then I did that, and then they started doing other things, and it just, and that's it. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a funny evolution, but podcasting has just been something I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy these kinds of conversations and learning about things and talking about all these different topics, and then, getting back involved in radio with Radio Garden State and all that. So I am with you when you're talking about podcasting, because it is very effective. And from a marketing and branding, personal branding standpoint, like people really form a much stronger connection with somebody through that. And, even when they say, podcast ads and stuff, when host read ads happen, people have they usually respond better to a podcast host read ad, than just a normal ad, because of that. It is that the audience builds trust with that host, totally. And it's a relationship. It's like listening to like your whatever station you listen to in the morning when you drive your car, the morning show or the morning zoo or whatever it is. Like, these are your friends in the morning that get you started. And, but people have that relationship with podcasts. It's like crazy how things come full circle. But from I think from what you guys are doing, I think it's great. It's an excellent service, because a lot of times the clients themselves, they want a podcast, but they have no idea how to do it. And while the technology, it's not hard, but they should be spending their time on other things inside their business rather than figuring out how to like use StreamYard or something else to like make a podcast.
The more niche, the better. We always
definitely
say one of our podcasts that we manage is the Anti-Architect podcast. It's been, oh my gosh,
I love that name.
years.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's like the leading one in the industry, 4 years later. And, it's such a captive audience because it is so niche and it's really taken off.
It has. We also launched a podcast for the Carpenters Union at the beginning of the year, where we've been working with them for almost a year. And so that's been another really fun one. You would never expect, a union to have a podcast. And there's these two visionaries.
But yet it makes sense. It makes sense.
And it's also, for some of our clients, it's such an incredible opportunity to not only establish relationships with their guests, but sometimes that leads to new business too. So I talked about the podcast media tour, but we also do start and manage podcasts for clients as well. So we do both sides of it. Sometimes we're pitching the guests to be on a podcast of yours, and sometimes we're on the other side of the mic and we're trying to get the guests.
Yes.
And we've definitely found that nobody ever says no to being on a podcast, right? Does anyone ever say no to you? No.
I mean, I think in all the time I've been doing this, only one person, and it wasn't even because they they physically weren't able to do it, and it was just hard to reconnect. So no one's ever really said no. It's like, of course I'll be on your show.
And if you're playing the long game from a new business perspective, right? If you own a business and you're thinking about the types of guests you'd like to invite on, maybe it's a brand that you would dream to work with someday or to have on as a client, and there's no pressure, and you get to come on and they get to share their story and borrow your audience and expose their company to your audience. So there's so many different benefits to hosting your own podcast too. And we do, like you said, it's a really intimidating process, I think, right? What do I name it? What's the description? How do we launch it? How do we cut the social clips? And we try to make it turnkey so that our hosts just show up and do the interview and we do the rest.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely something to be said. I mean, it's like anything, right? Process and system. You can make a process and system out of it, so it eliminates all that like minutia and the fear and all that, and you can cut down even on the time, because once you have it follows the system, follow the flow, you know, and you're not spending hours and hours on it. You're spending like a little bit of time. So you can cut down that investment for sure, the time investment.
Exactly. It's such a great return on investment for the time and money, the perception, the results we've seen. It's
very, very low risk. So what is one thing that you wish about what it is you do, or whether it's branding, PR, communicate, whatever it is, but what is one thing you wish that people or clients understood more about what it is you do? Like, what's something that drives you crazy? You're like, I can't believe you just don't get this.
Please don't ask Sally in accounting to do your social. She already has enough on her list. And the fact that people think, oh, I have to give the new, the recent grad, the social channels. You're handing over your multi-million-dollar brand company, and nothing against that. It's a whole collaboration, but there's so much more to it. It's a whole 360-degree strategy with all of your other marketing initiatives. And it is so key. It should be a line item in the budget, and it should be top priority. I mean, that's what the public is seeing about your brand. I mean, it's just, sometimes
tired, right? There's so much. I was going to say the same thing as Carey. How much time and investment it takes. It's so different to do social media for a company than for your personal.
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's not just taking a selfie and I'll post it. You have to be really thoughtful. Sometimes it takes us hours to work on a post.
I know.
Hours.
And tagging the right people. And it's so worth it. You might spend hours on it, but you're tagging all the partners, and no one is taking the extra time to do their own post. They're just sharing yours over because it looks great. And then you're just getting the attention.
We were working on a massive project in New York City, and we had sort of done this podcast media tour for this client. And we brought in all their partners, and then we kind of shopped them around to lots of different podcasts, and they all guested together as a group to talk about the different facets. We were talking to the one, guy. By that point, I knew him really well. And I said, oh, but do you ever want to work with us for social? And he's like, nah, we just wait for you guys to post it, and then we reshare all your content.
Like a major company.
Great. Major company. We're like, okay, well, that's great. There's value to that too.
Yeah. We're honored. We keep sharing away.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like even our clients will be on, Lauren gets our clients on industry panels, like major national panels. And of course, we make sure that, we constantly tag everyone on the panel, their companies, and they just reshare. So there's just, so much that goes into it.
And it's little for us. It's the
little,
details,
and
it's not a big deal, but it actually makes such a big impact, and no one else is doing it. So as an idea, it doesn't sound like, oh yeah, well, that's very obvious, but honestly, no one else does it. And then all of a sudden our client becomes the center for all this sharing. You're tagging the sponsors, the other people on the panel, their companies, moderator. All of a sudden you've got tons of shares and new exposure, So taking kind of thoughtful steps like that. If you were posting for your personal yourself, you probably wouldn't ever think to do those little things,
No, not at all. No, not at all. Not in that way. But it is true. I love how you said it though, Carey. It's so true. I mean, how many times you've been like, so who's doing your social? Oh, we've got a girl for that.
Yeah.
Who's that? Oh, yeah.
We're like, we'll never be your social girl. We always say that. One person I think said, "Oh, our construction guy is doing like he came off site and then he posts."
For one guy, we were talking to this.
We should keep a tally.
Names.
Yeah.
But he was like, and we just have our social girl. And I looked at him in the eye. You're never going to call us. We're not anyone's social girls. Like, we're not girls.
We have a full team. We have a director of content, manager. Like there is so much that goes into it. It's unbelievable.
That would actually be a great shirt. We're not a social girl.
Yeah, that is. We might take that.
Sally in accounting. I was thinking you could name this episode Sally in accounting.
I know.
Yeah, Sally in accounting. Social girl.
Poor Sally. She's got too much on her list.
Yeah. We're not your hashtag not your social girl.
Hashtag not your social.
Yeah, that's great.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. So all right, we talked about the very top. We mentioned it. We know Lauren would be a groupie for Mamadrama.
Mamadrama for life.
Right. So let's just talk about Mamadrama real quick. So for everybody here that has no idea what the heck Mamadrama is. What is Mamadrama?
Oh, Mamadrama.
Besides the greatest band in New Jersey.
Yeah, right. No. So Mamadrama is my mom band. So we're 6 moms and we've been going strong for 10 years and we are a local band and we play, all over. We just played in Nashville in March. We just did the Hop Sauce Festival in LVI where Radio Garden State actually interviewed us, which was awesome. And we write all original songs. So we're not a cover band. So we're moms, who love to rock. And it's a lot of fun. And we're all entrepreneurs. So we all have full-time jobs. We've been practicing once a week for 10 years.
That's all. Oh,
in Nashville.
Yeah, I was because I was tracking that. And what was it like playing in Nashville? It was like you guys went out on tour. It was like
yes, it was everything you could imagine. We actually got a bus. We drove down. We did all the stops, and Lauren actually surprised us. Lauren, my sister, and one of my best friends, Barb. They surprised us at the show.
I was a groupie,
and so she really was a groupie. She rolled under a fence to get into the back door to make.
You were 1,000% a Band-Aid. Like you did it. you are it. That's it. You're in.
I know, and I have to say, like you would think, like, oh my gosh, you're going to spend 4 days, 6 moms together on a bus. Like, are you going to get along and then sleep? We got an Airbnb, and when I tell you there was not one moment where we didn't all love each other. It really we bonded, and we just can't wait to do it again. I can see how it can be addicting to go on tour. It was so much fun. We had the best time.
That's awesome. And how was the actual show? Where did you guys play? Was it one venue or a couple places?
The basement is a classic dive venue in Nashville. So we played with the Deads. They're currently on tour. They're incredible. So we opened for them, and it was really, really
fun. It was
fun.
your best show ever, don't you think?
It was we were so psyched. And the sound was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And we did have some more people fly in from Atlanta, New Jersey. So
groupie.
It was fun.
That's right, groupie.
Yes.
No, I love that. So for anybody that's listening, right, they want to check out Mamadrama. You guys are literally on every streaming platform, right? As far as I know.
Mamadrama band.
Right. What is your favorite Mamadrama song to play live?
Oh, it's a good question. I would say, MILF, Moms in Leather Forever. That was our first one. That's pretty fun. But our newest one we released last year is called Salty. It was about a salty crossing guard at the school. It always comes back to like kids.
I mean, come on. You're right. You're right about what you know.
Exactly. It has a great riff. We did a music video in Seabright at Second Jetty. We had so much fun with that whole, campaign around the song.
Yeah, we actually play. I think we play Salty on the station.
You played it, yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's in rotation.
Oh, thank you. I know you've been so supportive. Thank you again for.
Yeah, well, it's great.
We're so excited.
Well, we are all about supporting everything in New Jersey, and you guys are part of New Jersey. So
I love what you're doing. It's so needed, and you do such a
we have a fun time. We have a fun time over at Radio Garden State for sure.
It's awesome.
That's excellent. Do the clients know about Mamadrama? Is that you keep it separate or like how does that work?
I've always kept it separate, but one of our CEOs is an incredible musician, and they just launched this fundraiser Battle of the Bands at the Stone Pony last year. So it's all architecture, engineers, right? Construction, all musicians, all in the AEC industry, put together bands, and they played, and the talent is incredible in this industry.
It was unbelievable.
We were blown away. So, and we do have clients like one of the biggest architects at our firm. He'll go on tour for 2 weeks and come back. So it's kind of like, wow, everyone has something that they're passionate about on the side. And
the CEO too,
and the CEO. Right? Yeah.
The CEO, Bill.
He's he releases amazing music on, Spotify, and he's on all these playlists. He's incredible. And he can play every instrument. So, it's really, really cool, but it's interesting. And that's, it's something that people have been talking about. I've been listening to some podcasts about how, I've always kept that side of my life, private. And, we're also on the fence, like LinkedIn. I think sometimes it's looking a little bit more Facebooky, and we're like, let's keep it LinkedIn. So you're always, balancing that. I think.
I get that, I get that. I'm of more of there's definitely things I kind of toe the line a bit on LinkedIn myself for me personally. I mean, my personal brand very much is part of like, the whole, I lean into all the rock and metal and all that stuff, but there is things that I'm like, just not going to post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like I'll post on Instagram and Facebook and all that. There's just some things it's like,
totally. Yeah.
Kind of like it's still me, and you could follow me over on those channels and see all that. But like, I don't know if this isn't really like, I'm not going to put this on LinkedIn.
I was going to post our side bush video on LinkedIn last year.
Right. Yeah, that one's a good, one's good YouTube, Insta.
Yeah, I know. And then you're like, oh my gosh, clients are following,
Yeah. But I think our clients love it.
They do.
All have,
no, they love it for sure.
But hobbies too. And
they do.
Like so often we're in meetings.
I know.
So many people are involved
I know.
in the music industry.
And it's such a passion. It's just like it lights, like Brand Groupies lights me up, and my band lights me up, and it's just a part, your authentics.
Yeah, I love that. How would you, and I love this part of this conversation because something that I've experienced a lot too over time, and how we bridged, like my background was all in punk and hardcore and being involved in the DIY scene before I started my business. And I always say punk and hardcore taught me everything I needed about marketing and business.
Amazing. Yeah.
Quote unquote. But it was where I,
to market bands.
All that stuff, and doing all that back in the day. And I carried that with me through everything. And even when I started my business and working with clients and creativity and being in production and film.
Wow.
So I would ask you, how do you feel like the experience of being in the band and doing all that has integrate itself into how you run Brand Groupies, how the two of you run Brand Groupies, and whether it's brainstorming, creativity, working with clients. Is there things that you feel like, oh my god, because I did this in the band, I could totally do this here and it like works,
I mean, I think two things. I think together, I think anything that gives energy gets us excited, so I feel like that always transfers over. Energy is such a big component and something that we really rely on. And what else? I guess I'm not sure.
I think clear roles, right?
Clear roles.
No, that's a good one.
Yes.
That's a really good one.
And
Carey
clear
taught me that.
clear goals.
Clear goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the band.
Yes, exactly. Clear roles. Yeah, and I think from a personal standpoint, I mean, just getting up and playing like a 45-minute to hour set in front of at a festival just gives you so much confidence to then go and present at in a big corporate meeting room. I think that too has helped level up all sorts of confidence where I was like, oh my gosh, if you asked me even 10 years ago before the band, like if I would be playing on stage, like, are you kidding me? Like, so I think personally it's helped, develop some of those skill sets.
I think anytime you're getting in front of an audience and doing anything, it definitely is like, it's not easy, but it builds a fortitude.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. We've had the Brand Groupies podcast, since 2018. So not as long as you. We thought that was long. Yeah. And
I'm an old man. So
that too was, definitely fun and just, again, the energy, we love hearing everyone's stories. And I think it just is down to our core identity, just being interested in that exchange of energy and also, partnering and collaborating and all of that fun stuff and learning, continuously learning.
I want to ask you guys a hard question. Well, I don't know if it's super hard, but it's more business related. So what would you say, you may both have two different answers for this one, but what would you say was the hardest part of building your business? Like, what was something that was really hard that, hey, I'm glad you're through it, or maybe you're still going through it, but I mean, because, everybody has that thing or things, but what was the hardest part of growing your business?
Yeah, let's see.
Finding we could say
finding the right team. Yes, it's been a challenge because you get to a certain point and it's just that, when you level up, you have to make that decision. All right, we're going to invest in the team and trust that, we're going to get more business to keep going. And I think
even just hiring, looking at resumes, interviewing, questions to ask, things to give, things not to get. There's so much to be learned.
Yes.
And the different generations all have different hopes and expectations in the workplace,
true.
right?
Yeah.
So
they're not sleeping at the office like we did in the,
right?
college.
Yeah. It's just totally different. And that's, I think we admire them.
Yes.
That, honestly.
Yes.
Probably should
some boundaries
at the office.
Yeah.
Boundaries and work-life harmony, and even just, beyond talent, finding people that have similar life goals, right? Like work-life harmony and what type of energy do they bring to the room? That for us, I think, is so important. And how do they treat clients? And, we're so passionate about our clients. I think one of our superpowers is the high touch with our clients and the responsiveness and things that just aren't the norm, I guess, in the general workplace. And it's those intangibles that don't sound like a big deal, but they're a big deal.
Yeah.
They are a big deal for sure. Yeah, you got to bring the right people in because otherwise it can mess up the culture and the DNA on things. That's
right.
It is. It's hard. It is.
Hard.
Building a team it's fun and exciting because you're growing, but at the same time, it's like really hard because you do have to make a decision, and sometimes it starts off great and doesn't always go the way everybody wants it to. It may not be a fit for that person, and you're like, oh wow, really? But it is what it is, right? It happens, and but it's a lot of pressure to try to make the right decision because it's time and money and resources and everything.
It is.
And expectations, right? What are your expectations for these people? What are their expectations of you? And even just getting to that tipping point where you have enough staff to be able to continue the growth, but you're not drowning, right? So it's like over investing. I think we're really in the last couple of years have been thinking with that lens. So we're excited. We have an incredible team. And we're growing and incredible clients. So it's a good time to be a groupie.
Yeah, we just hired a director of content strategy who was at Twitter X for 6 years. Before that, VaynerMedia. So we're really psyched.
She comes with incredible experience.
Yeah.
She's our right hand, which is so great for the two of us to have a right hand instead of each other.
It's always nice to bring in an extra set of hands.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah.
And then we just hired a social media manager who is younger and really techie and savvy.
Design savvy.
Up on all the social trends that change every single day. So that's fun to have that different lens on the team too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So what would you say, what song best describes the vibe of the agency right now?
Oh.
Could be more than one answer, by the way. It doesn't have to be one. It could be, maybe a little playlist.
Oh. Wow.
Playlist.
I mean, whatever comes out, it's.
Don't Stop Believin'.
I know. Don't Stop Believin' is always.
I was gonna say, Journey is. Can't go wrong with Journey.
I think like Dreams. What's Fleetwood Mac? Song because I know everyone's like, oh, think back a year ago, you wished you were here, but I can remember when we were like, oh my gosh, one day we'll get an office and we'll have a Brand Groupies office, and one day we'll have a team, we'll have multiple team members, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we are, we have a lot of people on our team. We're on to our second, third office, and it's just incredible that we keep dreaming, and if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen.
That's a good answer.
Good answer.
It's a really good answer. I was just trying to think of what would my answer be?
Manifesting.
Yeah, what would your answer be?
Yes.
What's your answer?
I'm trying to think because while you guys are talking, I'm like, I don't know if I can answer this question myself. If I ask this question, I don't know if I can.
I know you're going to go punk. You're going to go.
You know what? I guess it depends on the mood. I mean, right now, I always feel like my default answer on a lot of the stuff is always like Bad Brains attitude, just because it's like. So like when you actually break down the lyrics, it's like they're just literally like you gotta have that attitude, that PMA, you gotta have that positive mental attitude. It's like and it's like such an angry sounding song, but it's like when you actually look at the lyrics, you're like, no, he's actually telling you gotta have a positive mental attitude on life, and it's like it's great.
Yep.
So I don't know. I always default to that one, but I gotta tell you right now, the song that's been on my mind, like I can't is "Mama, I'm Coming Home" by Ozzy.
Amazing.
Just because I just got done I watched it. I bought this live stream and watching Ozzy. Like here's a guy who he's done it all, and now he's basically his body's falling apart because he's got Parkinson's, and here he is though, like sitting in a chair, like taking it in and singing as best he can.
I know.
And it was heartbreaking, but it was so happy to see him like get that moment.
Totally.
And that performance, just like I'm like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I just was like, can you hear it in his voice and everything in his face. And so I've been like kind of obsessed with Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Yeah, totally. Oh, that was really a moment in time.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it just, because I kept thinking like, oh my God, how is he going to do this?
I know.
I know. And boom, I mean, he did it. And then did another 4 songs with Sabbath. Like,
I know. And we went to the 2017 one in Birmingham. The last.
I went to the one at PNC. Well, I saw the Sabbath show at MSG, and then I saw Ozzy for the very last time at PNC.
And you thought it was, and it was like, oh my gosh, that's it, And so to come back all these years later, it really is remarkable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But that's a good one.
Yeah, so it's kind of where I've been at, right? If my current vibe, I guess it's that. It's been so fresh in my mind, I can't get it out of my head.
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
It's a good one. So, all right. Well, this has been awesome, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Like I said, we can keep going and going.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get to.
We love your energy.
I love your energy. The first time I saw, and the thing is, I didn't even know about Mamadrama till actually you reached out, Carey.
Yeah.
Because I only knew as Brand Groupies, and I was already like, oh my God, their brand is awesome. This is great. I love this. This is super cool. Thanks. And then when you were like, hey, I'm also in this band Mamadrama, I'm like, oh my God, this just got even cooler. Like, are you kidding me? This is so cool.
Here's our song, Salty.
Yeah, here's our song, Salty. Play it on the radio.
I know.
But it is it's wild to finally bring it all together and do this. So yeah, I appreciate your time. Any final words or anything else out there? Why don't you let everybody know how they can connect with you and all that? Let's get all that on there.
Get on that. Yeah, Brand Groupies, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and then our website, brandgroupies.com. I think that's the best way. And personally on LinkedIn, Carey Balogh
and Lauren Genest. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. And of course, I'll have all that in the show notes for anybody who's listening and watching. I'll have all that stuff below. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me again. You guys are the best. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening and watching and doing all that stuff. Please make sure you hit the follow button, the subscribe button. If you're over on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you get notified when I put out new episodes of Creative Frequencies. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next time. And always remember to rock it.
Rock it.